Good morning. Rob Herbold, our stewardship chairperson, asked me to talk a little bit about a transforming moment in my life and how it relates to my faith and my life here at Faith Church. And looking back, to be very honest, I did not have an aha moment. I did not have the lightning bolt strike me for my faith, but rather, much like I would think a lot of us, I benefited from a series of interactions and examples of people in my life that impacted how I grew as a Christian. I'll mention a couple of those. We grew up at Grace Lutheran Church in Westchester. In our family, my father was the regular churchgoer, which was a little bit unusual, I think, in those days, but he was the one who got up. My brother and I shared a bedroom, slept in single beds at the back of the house, kind of like all the kids did back in the 50s. We used to attend 8:30 church. My dad would be up, he would call us. Like most kids, we didn't move. We laid in bed. He'd call us again and again, and finally he came in the room and he picked up the bed and he dumped us over and said, "It's time to go to church." True story. This happened 2 or 3 Sundays in a row. I may not be the sharpest tack in the box, but I came to understand that it was very important for my father to get to church, and he felt it was very important for my brother and myself to get to church. And those lessons have stuck with me, and I'm grateful to him for doing that. Our family joined Faith about 25 years ago. Now, we've been blessed to observe and be inspired by many, many people at this church, some of which I'm looking at right now. Let me talk about someone who's with us today. I don't mean to embarrass him, but I want to talk about how Carl Lynn has impacted my life. Carl, a more than 50-year member of Faith. Probably 15 years ago, and you might remember this, Carl, when Carl was just a youngster, probably in his early 80s, I bumped into Carl when he was working out on the parking lot on a day that was about 90 degrees. He was measuring the parking lot to find a way to get more parking spaces on our territory. And his motivation was to make it easier and closer for visitors and older members to park close to church. One of the first remembrances I have here of someone who worked at improving our hospitality. Carl did that in his 80s. Second thing about Carl and his late wife Ann impressed me to death. 50 years ago, Faith was growing out of its building. We had a building down Park Boulevard, probably about 6 or 8 blocks down. Church was growing, we needed another building. We were either asking for too large of a loan, or there were some other circumstances, but the Lutheran Church would not give us a loan, and commercial banks would not give us a loan. So Carl and Ann and several other of our early members took second mortgages out on their homes to help finance the building of our church. What an example of faith. How many of us would do the same thing if the need arose? Would we take out a second mortgage on our house to pay for a need of the church? Carl, thank you. Thank you for doing that. God has given us these people and these moments to grow our faith. We have benefited by the deeds and the actions of past faith members, and now we have an opportunity to secure and grow this church. Transform it, if you will. You've heard about the upcoming Faith Cottage meetings. This is our chance to pay it forward, if you will, for our future, for our kids and for our future. I would ask you to please take that 90 minutes that the cottage meeting lasts to invest and transform our future. Your ideas are important. We know your time is important. It will be well used. Believe me, you will meet new members of the church and you will enjoy these meetings. Thanks.
Thank you, John.